Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. It's me Anil. We are back in the series of online food ordering website using ASP.NET. In previous video, that is part number 16, in that we have seen the contact page for both admin and the user panel. Okay, so in today's video, that is the part number 17. In that we're going to create a page for selling report. In admin panel, we're going to create a page for reports. In that, we're going to get the selling reports based on date, selected date. Here, we're going to take two controls for selecting date, like from to date. So, guys, let's get started. So, in admin folder, when to create a page, web form with master page. From here, like we can get or can go inside new item and search for the form with master page. I'm giving here page name as report. We need to select the folder where the master page is being located. Okay. Now we're going to design the AXPS page first, then we're going to move on to functionality part. For design, we can use the contact page of admin. Okay, so we can use the contact page which is placed in admin folder. Okay, we don't want this JavaScript disappearing message. Can use this. We can use this whole design for our report page. Okay, so select from the div till here, the end part of div, copy and paste it inside this content place folder. Okay, we don't want this label message because we don't want to display any message in this page. So here in this card header, we're going to take two to three controls like for uh, selecting the date range, okay, and the buttons. So first of all, let's take div of container class container. In that, another div with class form group called medium 4. Will divide into three column three separate columns with 4 4. Okay, so in this the first part, we'll take here the label for displaying text, that is from date. Then we'll to take the text box for date selection, exp x text box id is equals to txt from date run at server. The main thing here we need to select the text mode as date. Due to this, we are able to get the calendar pop-up for selecting the date. Then styling part, that is the CSS class we want, form control. After that, we want to take the validation for this control. So we need to take above the text box. We want here the required field validator because the user must select the drop down, the date range from and to. Based on that, we're going to display the data of selling. Okay. So first of all, let's take the ID value here, require field validator for form date. Then run it server. We need to display the message. For that, like back color should be not back color because we want four color is equals to red. Then the error message that we want to display, uh, simply I am taking here the asterisk. Now if the error occurs, like if field is not selected, then this control should get focus. So that's why set focus on error is equal to true. Let's take this into a new line. Yeah. Then we want it to display as dynamic so that it get focus or get the validation message dynamically. The main thing, control to validate, for which control it should be validating it. That is this one. So let's paste that here, txt form date. Okay, so we have completed the first here, this part, column part for the field. Let's copy it and paste it 3 times. So here we can see 4 4 8 4 12. So in bootstrap, in a single row we can have 12 columns, right? So that is here we are meeting that requirement. Now here we need to take two date, require field validator, to date, copy it, txt to date, txt to date. Okay, I think rest of here will be the same. Now here in this we don't want this all these things, so let's remove here. We're going to take here one button control for selecting that the date part on which we're going to display the reports result. So let's take the XPS button, ID is equals to btn search, run at server, text search, CSS class, btn, btn primary, and we need some margin from top of 4, but we want margin top from 4, but it will be in medium screen size. So here, oh, okay. So now when the button gets clicked, it should be display data in grid view. So below we have the grid view, this one. They put a control for displaying data. So we need to create here on click event of this button. On click, it's generate its event, create new event, enter. Now if you go to the code behind page, you will get the button click event created here. Okay. Now let's change here the text for this repeater data, like the heading part of this repeater control, selling report. Let's change the ID R, that is for repeater, and for report we won't we don't want this on item command event. Let's remove. Okay, so in repeater we need to change the header name as well as the data for the particular columns. So we want the serial number, and instead of username we want the full name of the user. Then email we required, we don't want subject message. Instead of that we will take here item order, total cost, you don't want this both. Let's remove it. Now here for this displaying the columns value here, we want the serial number that will remain same as it is. The full name also remains same, email as well. For the total orders, we need to change. After that, total price. Remove the last one. We don't want this link button for deleting. Remove that also. Okay. So after this row div, we will taking another div for row. Let's give space. Okay. So inside this div, we'll take another row, bootstrap row, padding left of 4. So here we'll take one label control for displaying the total of price, total price of all that item which has been purchased by the users for a particular date range. Okay, so we need to take here the .NET control label, ASP label, ID, LBL total, run at server, font bold, let's say true, and the font size small. Okay, I think the design part is now completed. Let's move to the code behind page. That also, like, we can copy from the contact page of the admin panel. Let's copy this part, paste it, and then this as well, copy, paste. We don't want this else part, remove it. So here, instead of contact user, we want selling report. It will remain same. Okay, before the button click event, we'll create a function for fetching the data and we'll display it in the repeater control. So here we can use this function, copy and paste after this page load event. So let's change the repeater control name, that is R report. Okay, now we need to create this stored procedure, like which we don't have right now. Take the stored procedure. Yeah, we need to create a new stored procedure for that. Okay, so open your SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so in our database, inside this programmability stored procedure, we have all the stored procedures. Okay, so we have to create a new one. Can go from here, like click on store procedure, and here it will create a new format like for creating this. Okay, or you can go directly by the query. Just click on new query here. Make sure your database should be selected here. Okay, so let's create a new one. Procedure, create procedure, procedure name, let's say selling report. Okay, so here like we have parameters. We will require two parameters for the date, like from date and to date. Okay, so for parameter we need to use here at the rate, and let's give the name parameter, that is your from date, and it is of type date time, or not date time, date, specific date. Okay, and it will be default null if it is not passed. Then to date as begin, and so within that, inside begin and end, we'll write our query. But before that, we'll set this part, the set no count on. Okay, now we'll write our query here. I have pasted the query that we are using in the store procedure here. I know like you will not understand this whole query for the first time, so let me explain it step by step. So select star from the table, like we want to display the selling report. Okay, and we'll get the details from the orders table, because in orders table we are storing that the users orders, right? From that we'll fetch the orders placed for a particular users for a particular date. Okay, so based on that, so for the table that we want, that is the order table. So we'll take here select star from the orders. Press F5 or execute. You will see the list of orders made here. Okay, so now what we want here, like we are getting the user ID, so we want the user details for that. And what else we want? We want product details as well. We are having a product ID also. Okay, so uh, let's get the details for that product as well as the user. For getting the details from multiple tables, one or more tables, we are using here the join, SQL join. Okay, in that we are using the SQL inner join, or you can say SQL inner join. Okay, inner join on products table. So we are joining two tables based on the primary and foreign key relation. Okay, so in orders table, we have the product ID, which is a primary key in the product table. So here in orders table, we are using as a foreign key. Okay, so let's give that here on products dot product ID is equals to orders dot product ID. Now we need to type the whole table name again and again. So instead of that, we can use the alias name for this table. Let's say P. So we don't need to type this whole table name. We can use the sort the alias name for orders. We can use O. Okay. So now if we select and run this query, we'll get the records of the two tables which is matching based on the product ID. You can see here the product ID is same here for the product tables data, and we got the record from the product tables as well. Okay, so what we want now, we want to join the table of the users as well. So let's join the second the third table, that is the users. Give the alias name as you, or can give any alias name. Okay, on u dot user id, because it's a primary key here and the foreign key in orders table user id. Now we are getting the three tables record. Okay, so we don't want all the columns. We'll going to take only those columns which we are required for displaying the data. Okay, so let's remove this asterisk from here, and first of all, okay, let's let it be the asterisk. We want the serial number for displaying that, the serial number data for like how many number of rows like we are having. So let's run this part. Now we'll see here the serial number having the number of the rows. Okay, so this part like we can use for getting the serial number. Okay, now we can remove that the asterisk part and take only those columns which we want. Okay, so from orders table, what we want, we want the quantity of the product like the user bought. Okay, that is from the this one product, this one orders table. Then what we want, yeah, like for like how much quantity the user has bought, that we want from the orders table, for which product like the user has bought, that also we want. So we will get from the product table. Okay, so ls name p of the product table, and the price for that product we can get here from the product table. Then what else? Okay, so we want the user details for like who has bought. Okay, so for that we'll take here the username, not the that username, actual name. Okay, so and the email also we can take. Okay, so after the serial number we have the username, their email, and now we want the total orders made for that user. Okay, so for that we'll, okay, first run this query and let's see what we are getting the data here. So we can see this is a single user. Okay, this user has made multiple orders. Okay, so and this is the second user which have the only one orders. Now what we want this the data, the orders made for the particular for user, we want to combine into a single record. Okay, we want to merge it in a single record because we don't want like display the separate orders for each user. Okay, suppose if we are having multiple users, 100,000 users, and their number uh, and numbers of orders, so it will be a lot of data to display, right? So that's why we are going to merge or combine into a single group of that particular order. Okay, a particular user. Okay, so for that, like we can use group by. Okay, we can group that data. So for that, we can use here the group by clause. So like how it works, the group by, it will group the data based on that particular columns, which is similar. It will going to group into a one. So here what we can see similar, that the name and the email, right? So we can use that the column here, name. Okay, like let's use the name for now, and let's see. You can see here the column email is invalid in the select list because it is not contained in either an agreed function or on or the group by clause, saying that the email, we are using the email as well, right? And the name, so we have taken the name in group by clause but not the email, so that's why it's giving the error. And the reason for that, like we are using group by, so group by, uh, it should contain all those columns of the table that we are using in the select query. Now you will ask, like what about this quantity price, because this also are using in that as column, right? So let's have the email first, email column, then we'll see that. I think still we'll going to get error for this quantity and then price. You can see here the quantity now is missing here in the group by. Now what we want, I want to group basis on this name and the email, because this will be the same for everyone, right? Like for like for this user we are having this record, like the same record. Okay, and many others, okay, will get same record. So based on that we can group, means we this the first six data, first six record, it will going to become a one record. Okay, count will be have one. Now the quantity will be different, right? So how it will gonna merge, as well as the price also differs. So in group by there is a like a concept called like we can like escape that the aggregate functions, like we can use the aggregate functions on the this the numbers part, like integer, float, decimal, money. So all those, of all those columns we can like use the aggregate functions, and which we don't need to include in group by clause. Now what we have seen, we need to include all those columns which we have taken in the select list. So we want to escape this quantity and the price for including in the group by clause. We don't want to include this both the columns. So we can include exclude that column by okay, when we group this record. based on the name and email. What we want to add all the quantity for that user. Okay, suppose we want to display here for the first user, you Anil. Okay, so here it will be there Anil. The second record will be there here Rahul. Okay, so first here Anil is there, then the quantity of the orders made by the Anil, uh, it should get the total, right? Total of this all the orders quantity. So we want that total quantity and that total price also for that. Okay, so let's add here the sum for that, sum of quantity. Sorry. Okay, now it will going to add all the quantities for that particular user, like for particular that the column that we are using in the group by. Okay, next we want the price also. So now if we run this query, we'll get only two records. Okay. Okay. Now if you notice here, we don't have this the column name for this both columns because we are using here the aggregate function. Okay. And right now we're not getting any error for this group by because we didn't didn't include that both these columns. Still we are getting the data, not getting any error. Why? Because here the group by consider this column as an aggregate, which means it's not uh, considering this actual column, because you can see here for while using the aggregate functions for a column, you can see here there is no column name, means like it's not the real columns of a table. That's why group by didn't identify that column as a tables column. So you can get the data here. Okay, so now what we want to give this both the column as a column name, some column names, right? So we can take here, let's enter here in the new line, then here let's give the ls name as total orders, and then the total price. Now run this query. Now we are getting the column names, right? So the first user have made the orders, uh, total orders like the seven, the quantity. Okay, the quantity of this seven. Okay, the product quantity total is seven, not the orders. How much time made by the user? It's the quantity of the product. Okay, and the total price. But here uh, we are missing something for the price. The price should get multiplied based on the quantity, right? If you had noticed for this user, the first one, the quantity is 2 and the rest of the quantity is 1, right? In first order, the user has ordered 2 quantity of a product, right? And after that, okay, let's see here. Okay, let's comment this for right for time being, and we need to display here order quantity. Then okay, now you can see here the first order made by the user of quantity 2 and rest of orders is 1. Okay, so the price that here we are displaying, that is for single product. So the single price for product is 200 and we have two quantity, that means it should be 400, right? 400, and then it will go to add another uh, product's price, right? So for that we need that this part, the price get should be multiplied with the quantity, how much quantity will there, based on that we will going to get the total price, right? So for that, so how much will be here for this, like it will be 400, 437, right? 10, 10, that means 1000, 1300, then 50, and then 18. It should be 1800 for this user. Okay, so let's uncomment this part, and here price should get multiplied with the quantity part. Okay, it's not like considering this it's a valid column because we didn't mention for which table this column is belong. Okay, so for that we need to give the ls name, that is o, that is from order table. Okay, now if we run this query again, we'll get the perfect data. Okay, so here we get the 1800 for this total price of this total orders made by the this user. Okay, and it will be doing for rest of other users data. Okay, so now this is the actual query that we have taken in the above. Okay, so by this, like you can form our own query as per your requirements, like what you want to display. Okay, let's remove this part while using this one. We need to take here the where condition for fetching data based on the date range selection. Okay, so for that, like we are missing that this one where condition, so let's add that as well, and the where clause always comes before the group by. Okay, so we are having the order date made by the user in orders table. So for order date here, now we want uh, data from the date range selection, means there will be two date, that is the start date or end date, or from date to date. Okay, so from based on that we will going to fetch that data from the table, from the orders table. Okay, so for that here we can use the between operator, between from date and to date. So we have the parameter from date and to date. Okay, so based on that it will going to get the data. Okay, now the this one, this column can see here that it's a type of date time, and we are getting the data of date is in date format, so that format doesn't match, so that's why we need to cast this column into a date from date time column. Okay, so for that we can use sql cast here. What it will do here, it will cast expression and returns an integer by default. So it will going to cast this column into a specific format which we specify here. We want that columns should get cast into a date. Okay, now it's perfect. Okay, hmm, okay, that's fine. Let's remove this part now. Okay, click on execute. It will going to create this store procedure. Okay, it gets created successfully. Now we can use this store procedure in our project. So here it's selling report, and we need to pass the parameters uh, from date, and here it should value that we are getting from the control text box control, right? So we need to take one variable for that. Okay, so in this function, like we'll getting the this one, the date. So let's take here the parameters for this function. Both the date, from date, and to date will going to get from this function. Like when we are going to call this function, we'll be passing both the date in the parameters. Okay, so let's take here the parameter. In C sharp we don't have date, we have date time. So we need to take here the date time, and the first one, that is the from date, then data type date time, to date. Okay, now we can use here that parameters variable here. Let's copy this line, control D, and here it will be a to date. Remove this, paste this parameter name to date. This parameter name should be same what we have here in the stored procedure. Okay, now what uh okay, it will going to display data here in that. Okay, but the one thing, okay, we are getting the total price from the store procedure, right? And so we want to display uh, the all the total of the total price. Means like the value that we are getting for this column total price, we want to add all the total price data into a one data. Okay, so for that we need to take here some extra step after, like when we get data in this dt, that is data table object. Okay, before displaying the data in this repeater control. So here we're going to take some, we need to add here some logic for that. Okay, so first of all we need to check if it has any data. dt.rows dot count, the count is greater than 0, that means it has some data in it. Okay, so if it has data, then we need to get data for each, like for every data we want here. Let's press tab, enter. Yeah, so for every data row, what we have, why we have taken here data row, because we are getting data from the data table. In data table we have the data row class for fetching the particular rows data. Okay, so for the first rows, in data table, if we have, okay, then what we want to fetch the total record, total price of that the column that we are having a total price here. Let's copy. Okay, so we want to store it in a variable. So first of all, let's take here one variable, and it will should be a double. Okay, and let's say the grand total, the variable name, and let's give it a 0 by default. Grand total is equals to the that dr row. Okay, what we have, yeah, data row. So we need to fetch that record from the total price. So we need to give here the column name as total price. By this we can get the data in this variable, but we are getting an error here. Why? Cannot implicitly convert the type object to double. Okay, we're not getting this columns type. It's considering as an object, so we need to convert into some format, data format, so that we can store here in this double data. So in double, obvious it should be a double data format, so we need to convert this column data into a double. Okay, so for that we can use here the convert dot to decimal. Okay, still we are getting this error. Let's see what is now. Okay, oh okay, my bad, it's a decimal. Should be double, right? Two double. Now it's done. Now what I want to add all the total price. Okay, all the total price into a one variable here. So it will going to take only single total price in this and will display that, but we don't want that, so we'll take here this. So what it will do, it will gonna add here. Can see here the below, which is over here. Can see here that double left and right. That means it will looks like something this part. Grand total is equals to grand total plus this part. This means the above lines means this one. The grand total first it will be 0, then what it will want to get the value from this column total price, it will going to add here. Suppose the first one that is like 200, right? 200 plus 0, that is 200. It will going to store here as a 200. Now again it will going to in for each loop, then it will going to get some other record like 100. So it's 200 plus 100, that is 300. Now it will go to store here as a 300. This is how like it will going to add one by one into this variable grand total. So for that it's a shortcut you can use here instead of writing this. Okay, so let's remove this line. Okay, so we have got this the data grand total. Now we want to display the data in like somewhere, right? So for that, like we have taken here, not here, the report design, we have taken here the variable label part here, the below. Okay, so we'll using that. Okay, let's copy this id. So after this we'll be displaying that the data in this label control grand total dot to string, like we can use, or directly it will be like we can display it. Okay, okay, so now we want to display some text as well with that, like it should be like in what currency or some name, like we can give here. So let's give here, let's just, okay, it's a string, so we have to take here double quotes. caps lock is on. Sorry, sold cost of like how much can add here this one. I want to give here the currency symbol where we'll get that in product page. I think we have that product yeah, in design page I think we have, yeah. Copy, paste. Okay, now we want to give the some styling to this label control. So label control dot css class is equals to, we are giving here bootstrap class, that is the batch primary semicolon. Okay, so this part is completed. Now the function part, now we need to call this function when the button get clicks. Okay, so on this, like, we need to write the code on the button click event. So first of all, we're going to get the data from the text box. So we are getting the data like a date, right? So it will be obvious in string format. Okay, now we need to like hold that data in date time format. We are selecting the date, not the time from there, but in C sharp we don't have the data type, so that's why we need to use here the date type. So let's take here the class the date time, and let's give here variable name from date. So in that, like, we'll be fetching that the text box data, so it will be in string, so we need to convert that first. Convert dot to date time. Now the text box name, that is this one. So let's copy this line, control D. So instead of from, we need to take here to date, as well as this one to date. Okay, so now we are having the text box controls data here in this variable. Now we need to pass this into this function while calling. Okay, so that this data we can pass in our store procedure for fetching the data. Okay, now we have to check here some for validation, like if date, suppose we have selected the from date should be less from the to date, right? So for that, like we need to this handle that some validation here. Okay, so first let's take here to date should be greater than the current date. Sorry, if it is, my bad, if the to date, okay, it should, if it is greater than current date, we don't want that, so we need to display some message for that. So we're going to display here the javascript alert message. Okay, response dot write. So in that we'll have the script tag, copy, paste, alert function. semicolon. In that, what we want to display, to date cannot be greater than current date. The end, semicolon. Okay, so mm, else if this condition didn't match, then another validation we need here. Else if, what if like form date is greater than the to date? Always we need to select the form date, the start date till the end date, till where like we want. So form date should be less than the to date or end date, right? So that's why like we need to handle that validation as well here. Form date should be like when it is greater than to date. At that time, we want copy this line, paste it here. The message like form date cannot be greater than the to date. Okay. If it is like there is no that any uh, like if it is all good, then else part what we want to call our function. Okay, we need to change the function name, get report data, or get report can take. Okay, so we need to call that function here and need to pass the parameter. The first one is the form date, the second one is to date, right? So we have passed here. Okay, let's run and see. Before that, we need to link that this page in our menu in admin master page here. Categories, product status, users, feedback, reports. We have here reports, and here we want that page name is report.xps. Okay, save it and now run it. Let's log in as an admin. Okay, so we are getting here two controls. From date and to date. Okay, like suppose we are selecting this and we are getting nothing. Okay, because there is no data for this the current date. So let's see. For which date we are having data? Select store from orders. We have here like 1 year's back data, like for the December, and is for 2 or 3 months like we are getting here. So let's get the data from for the December month. So from that here, like it will be any okay, like for the previous year. Okay, let's search. Now we can get all the data, right? So there is a tool users data that came here, and we have to get the serial number based on that, and then the name, email, and the 7 total item orders were made by the users. Okay, and the total cost is 1800 rupees, and the second users is 300 rupees. And you can see here that 1800 plus 300, that is 2100, that we are displaying here. That is a grand total sold cost for this uh, all the users for a particular date range. Okay, so this is like what we want to display here, and we are done with it. Okay, we have done what we want here. Okay, so can change here, like suppose mm, let's fetch for that particular month, December 1. Now let's search. Okay, should be okay. Now can see for that particular date range we have the first users data, and only 4 item orders were made, and the date we have selected, that is the previous years, that is the December month. Okay, and in this year till January. If you have a look here, December, like we have three records. Okay, till January, like January we don't have, but here like we have this one. We have the February and March record, but not the January. So in December we have three. So this one, the quantity can see here, one, two, four. Okay, so we have here four. Okay, and the price is 1000 based on that calculation is made. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, and like if we fetch for that after January, like if we fetching the record, we'll going to get for the February we have data, right? So let's say here, and we get the second user's data. Okay, okay, the first user's data itself, but the data like quantity is different for like for that. You can see here, here this one for the February month, like from January to February, we have taken the date range, right? So in January we don't have, but in February we have three records for that for the first users. Okay, and you can see here this one we have three data. That means the three quantities there, three. Okay, so it's working properly, and we have done with it, and I think I will be continuing this in this part only, the this one, the dashboard part. Okay, so let's start with the dashboard part as well. Before moving to this page, we need to uh, modify this part, the control part. We want into a single line. Actually, we have taken the form group in our bootstrap class here for the controls. Okay, we have taken you, but I forgot to. Then we need to here enter. Yeah. Okay. So here this this three div should comes in a another div which I forgot to do. Let's cut this part and paste it here. Select this div, Control K D. The code get aligned automatically. Okay, so here in this div, we need to take the class form group, save it, and refresh the page. Still, it's the same. Okay, here it should be form row. My bad. Save it, refresh it. Now you can see it's in a single line. Okay, now we can easily see this the data with that we are displaying in this repeater control. Okay, let's check. Okay, so for this year we have in the January month. Oh, sorry, in February month till okay today till we can search. We get both the records, right? So okay, now we didn't check that validation part, like we didn't select any date. Suppose let's refresh this page and we click on search. You can see here these both controls get highlighted. Suppose I have selected this first date, it is form date, and the two date is still missing. You can see this control is get highlighted, get focus. Okay, so that means both the controls are required to get selected before to fetch before fetching the data. Okay, so now if you can see okay, let's select this for this, and like this can see here the two date cannot be greater than the current date. If you notice here, the form date is of 6th of 8, okay, like that is August, okay, 6th of August, and the two date is 12th of August, which is greater than the form date. Okay, that should not happen. Form date like okay, like if you notice here, this part, like it's valid. That means the form date is less than the to date. Okay, but the issue is the to date is greater than the current date. The current date is 6, okay, 6th of August, and I have selected 12, which is greater than this the current date. So that's why we are getting here the to date cannot be greater than the current date. Current date, like it should not greater than that. Okay, so if I select 6, we are getting that like empty data, like it's of the same date. Okay, we don't have any data on the same for the current date. So if I am selecting uh, okay, let's say I am selecting from date as a 4, and the to date I am selecting as 3. One date, 3 ways of from date. Form date is greater than the to date, which should not be happen. See here, the form date cannot be greater than to date. Okay, that means both validation is working. Okay, so this part was left for this one. Now we can go and continue for this dashboard page. Okay, so first of all, we to design page for this dashboard. Okay, so let's see one by one. Let's open our dashboard design page here. We want that this the starting part for this. We want this main body, page wrapper, page body, and the row as well. Okay, let's copy this whole div tag, copy, and paste it here instead this part. Okay, now we don't want this one. Let's remove it. We don't want this form group, the container part. We don't want. We don't want the card header part as well. So let's remove this first. Okay, so remove this padding top. Okay, okay. So inside this row, in this div row, this one, we have this the class called small 12. So that is for this small device. It should be 12 columns, right? So we don't want that. We want 6 if it is medium device. Okay, and if it is called extra large, and it is extra large like full screen for laptop and computers, at that time the size will be 3 for each column. Okay, each column should be 3. Okay, so in that, like for the card we need to take here visit visit card 1. Then here for the card we don't have to take header, card block small. In that, let's take I tag of class ico font. This ico font, like for using for the icon and font, it's already integrated in this the admin template. Okay, so from there we are getting this. I'm not like integrated separately. Okay, from the outside, it's already there in the template that we are using for the admin, not the user. In admin, we'll get that. Okay, so the class is like ico font, that the font name Murphy. We need to give the background color blue, background blue. and card one icon. Stick span tag. Okay, let's save this and view it browser. Refresh. Can see here the one row of card like we have taken, that is, and the icon, an icon that we have taken, this one muffin. Okay, and the color blue have taken. Okay, this one, and this is in I tag. Okay, and then in span tag, text of blue color, font weight 600, text we need to display. The first one is category, categories. Save it, refresh. Okay, then H4. So here we're going to display how many categories count is there. So let's say 5 count right now we have. So let's have given here static. Later on we'll be having here the dynamic data which is coming from the database. Okay, and then need to take here another div. Save this first and view in browser. Can see here the 5 count will be here shown. Now we want like one view details link will be there. We click on that, it will take us to the particular page. Okay, so for that, in this div, let's take span tag. Let's take here class for the span, on for the left. Okay, it's not font, sorry, my bad. It's a float left, and then medium top of 10. Then the text, it should be muted. Save it. Then here that link we need to take view details inside the anchor tag. Href, where it should go, it's for category, right? So it should go to the category page. So here, after that, in that let's take I tag for displaying icon. So in that I tag we need to take the class. Okay, first of all let's take the text color, say blue, font 16, ico font, ico font hyphen I for view, I alt, I alt. Let's save it and refresh. Can see here I is there, and we didn't take the text part. Okay, and as well as that. Okay, let's take the first the text part, what we want to display here, view details. Save it, refresh. Okay, we want some space between this icon and text. margin from the right side, let's say 10. Save it, refresh. Okay, now it's looking better. Okay, so we have done with this. Okay, so we have done with the first uh, block of card. Okay, like here. Now in the single row we need to display four card blocks, like three more will be there for the first row, then other will be in the second row. Okay, so for the first, in this first row we'll take uh, three more this div tag. Let's copy. Okay, first remove this space line here. Yeah, copy this part, paste it here, second time, then third, and then fourth. Okay, now the first one we have already done. The second one we have to change the classes. Now this is for the products. We need to change here the icon, like we are having the fast food, and we need to change the color here from blue to pink. Copy, change this pink, change here blue to pink. This icon will remain for every card. We need to change this icon, like this one we need to change for every card. Okay, and need to change the color. Okay, this eye color and icon color. Okay, we need to change for every these cards, as well as the text color. Okay, so yeah, this one, the page for the products, we need to give the product, or just remove it here and press Ctrl space bar. You will able to select the pages that you want to select. Product, save it, refresh. Okay, so I have pasted it four times, right? So it's displaying four cards in single row. Okay, so I have changed the second one. Now let's change the third and fourth. Okay, if you go like click on here, it will take us to the page for that. For the first one is category, the second one is product. It will take us to the product page. Okay, so now let's do it for the rest of other this two. Then you move to the second row. Now the third one is total orders. Now the icon we need to change. Spoon and fork, and color here, let's let it blue. Let's change this text color from blue to pink. Sorry, not pink. We'll take here green color, as well as here we want to change here the page name, that is total order something, or order status. Yeah, save it. Yeah. Now last one, delivered items. Change it to pink. An icon. Fast delivery. Let's take it here yellow color. Page that we need to take here. Again, it's a order status. Okay, for both total orders and delivered items will take us to the order status page. Okay, let's save it, refresh. Okay, so first row we have completed. Now let's copy this whole code for the page for the second row as well. Okay, so here is the first row. Okay, let's minimize this part so we can clearly see. Okay, so in this row we have four cards. So let's copy this row and paste it here. Now in second row, we will display the first card as pending items. Color here, let's take pink, and the icon delivery time. Against order status. Okay, so here pending item is there. Both the icons is different here, can see. Now the remaining three we need to do. The next is users. Let's make it blue. Users social. And here ping is there. Save it. Okay, we need to change the page name as well here. Users. Save it. Refresh. Okay, now other one. Next, sold amount. Icon name here. Money. Money bag. Color, let's say here pink. Here it would green. Green. Let's change the page name. Here sold amount, that is for report. Save it. Now the last one is feedbacks. Icon has changed. Support FAQ. Color here, let's say yellow. Copy. Okay, here already yellow is there. Need to change the page name. Contacts. Okay, or you can do it from here. Make sure the page name correct. Okay, save it. Otherwise, it will not redirect to that page. Okay, refresh it. Now you can see now everything is here done. Only we need to get this data from database instead of the static data. Okay, so we have checked this one for total orders. It's going to the total order status. It's working as well as for these delivery items, then pending items, then users, sold amount, and report page, and the feedback in contact page. Okay, so everything is working. Now let's create one class for class and create a method inside that for getting the count of data. Okay, for the particular table. Okay, so in connection class we have done created right here the outside. Open that. Okay, so we have here in this like in connection we have two class already. The connection is there itself, but the util class is also there. Okay, so instead of util class, not instead of that, we'll create a new one. Okay, let's minimize this. Public class dashboard count. Okay, so now from the util class, let's copy this three classes, paste it here. Now let's create a function for getting the count from the database. So it will return integer, that is the count value, and function name is count. It takes some parameters like for which table we need to take. That's the name we want. Let's take here the variable int. Instead of typing all, I should copy and paste it here, and we'll explain it. Okay. So I'm pasting here code. Okay, HDR. We don't have to take here SQL data adapter. Instead of that, SQL data reader we want. So HDR. Okay. Connection string is not fetching from here. Okay, we got this problem previously. So it got fixed when we type it manually. I don't know why, but it's working in that way. Connection in number it's taking that connection, but here don't know why. Okay, my bad. The spelling, like which I have made mistake by creating this the connection. So C is not there, so I have to remove C from this. Okay, connection dot get connection string. Okay, okay. So now, like here, in dashboard count, we need to create a dashboard store procedure for that, and the parameter is the action of type name, like for which tables count like we want. For that we are passing the name as it's a parameter. Okay, so it will get the data from that, and like while executing it will read that data, and if it is like the zero position, if it is value is null at that time, like we'll display the data count as zero. Otherwise what will be the value we are getting from the stored procedure, we're going to display as it is the count variable, and we'll return that count from that value. Okay, so this function return the count of the particular table's data. Okay, so now let's create the store procedure for that. So yeah, in this we will need this tab, like can create or can take a new one. Create procedure, then procedure name. We have taken the dashboard already, so we are using that dashboard. Then the parameter name, action is capital here, and it's varchar 20. Um, by default it will be null as begin, and in between that I will be pasting the code. Okay, so I pasted a code that is a set no count on. Okay, the first one that we are using for the action category. Okay, in that, like it's a simple query, select count asterisk from the database categories. From categories table it will going to give the count, how many data count of like data of categories is present. It will get us give us the count value for that category table. Same way for the products. Second one, the third one is order. The fourth one again it's order. In third one that it will give us the total orders, okay, present in orders table. And the fourth one it will give us the orders which is delivered. Okay, we want particular delivered items, like how many delivered items is there. So for that this count have been taken, where the status is equal to delivered. And the fifth one where the status, like the pending status we want. Okay, for pending like means the status which is not delivered, in that case pending and the dispatch is there. Okay, both in both these cases the status is not delivered, so that's why this both status we need to consider for pending case. Okay, then like for if you are like putting the where condition on a particular columns, like for the multiple values, if we have single value we can give equal to the value. Okay, but we have multiple values, then we have to use the in clause here. Okay, so in that we have to pass um more than one values, like can pass single value as well, but normally choose for more than one values so that can get data for that column. Okay, so the next one, the sixth one is for the users. It will get the users count, and the seventh one, this one seven. In seventh one, it's it will give us the sold amount. Okay, the query that we have done in report, right? It give us this this one, the amount what for the price, like price into quantity we are doing, so we are getting the sold amount from the order table. and the price is getting from the products table. So we have joined the products table as well here based on the product ID. Okay, and the last one, eighth one, that is for contact. It will give the count of the contact. Okay, so our store procedure is now ready here. Okay, let's create it. Press F5 or click on here execute. The store procedure is now created, and we have already all used the store procedure inside this function. Now we need to call this function and pass the parameter like the table name for which table we want that. Okay, just save it and move to the dashboard page. The code behind, press F7 here. Okay, in dashboard we have already taken that this page load code. Okay, then what next want if the user is logging in, then like yeah, then after login it should, when the user is not logging, it should take us to login page, and else it will gonna display the count of the data in dashboard. Okay, so for that, like first of all we need to create the object, the reference of that, the class that we created, dashboard count. Okay, so let's take the class dashboard count, the object name. Okay, so we have created the object of that class. Now we can use the method from that class. So we will be this one. We will be using the session here for displaying the data, or you can use the hidden field as well. It will the same thing. Okay, so okay, so but you for that, like you need to take the hidden field. How many cars we have in there? So for that, that numbers of uh, hidden field control you have to take in design page, and their ID we need to pass it here for storing your data in that. So you can use that, but I am using the other session for sim to make it simple. Okay, session, the session name, the first one, that is the category. So I'm giving here the session name as category. So we'll get the data in that in integer format, right? So first of all, and we need to store that data like here. So first of all, we need to convert this. Okay, let's try for without that. Dashboard dot count, that is the function name. You can see here it's coming from the dashboard count. Okay, and its take parameter, that is in string format, that is the table name that we need to pass. Okay, okay, it's a, for simple we can pass here this the table name, which is more relatable name what we are doing. Paste it here, save it, and here now you can see if we take here. mm, okay, okay, now can see here table name. Okay, which makes sense. Okay, so here the first one, the table name is category. Okay, semicolon. The same way we need to do rest of others. Okay, so first let's check for this first one if it is working or not. Copy that the session name and go to the dashboard design page. The first for that, this one where we have taken these categories. Okay, here instead of that, this static value, we need to take our values from the session. So for using the C sharp session here, we need to take the angle bracket percent, then response dot write, and then our the session name. semicolon. Okay, so we'll be using this for everyone. Later we're going to change the session name. So copy it, paste, save it. Now refresh. I think we're going to get an error because we have created that class. Okay, let's log out. Let's log in again. Okay, so we are not getting that the data from the session because the session is not able to read that because we have created a function without stopping this project was in running mode. So let's stop it and now let's run and see. Can see there is two category. I think that's why it's showing two. We have taken the same for everyone, so that's why we are able to see two. Let's see, cross verify. Yeah, we have only two categories right now. Okay, so now it's working. So we can copy this code for every tables data for fetching. Okay, so let's paste it. We are having the 8 cards, right? So we need to paste it 7 times more. Sorry. Or you can just simply press Ctrl D. It will copy that line. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now we need to change the session name as well as the table name. Okay. Product, order, delivered, pending, user, sold amount, contact. Now let's change the table name. Product. Make sure the table name should be same like in your case. Sorry, this is not a table name. It's the action name like I'm passing. Sorry, my bad, my mistake. Uh, Here I'm passing the action name. It's not a table name. Okay, so let's make sure it should be same. Okay, product, orders, then delivered. Copy. So third one is order, then the delivered, then pending, user, sold amount, contact. Save it and rerun. Okay, we didn't change that session name in the design part. So let's copy the name. Second, first one is done. Second page. third one order page, fourth one delivered, fifth one pending, sixth one user, seventh one sold amount, the last one is contact. Save it, refresh. Now can see different values which is directly coming from the database account. Okay, so the sold amount, like till now how many amount were like there. So that amount is like here, like if you go here and select till now, we have the same amount, and see here 2100. Okay, so that total amount like we are getting here. Okay, so we have done the whole functionality part. We need to change here the text. Like from we have already admin can change the image as well if you want. You can change this part of this like this is the logo of the image is there, so we can replace with the text as well. So let me show you how it can do. So it's in master page of the admin like here. So in admin master page we can do that. Let's open the master page of the admin. It's here. Like how to verify, like it's the same thing. You can just right click here, go to inspect. Like if you hover on that, you can see this is the image like we are getting. Theme logo alt is there, and the image name is logo.png. Okay, and that is the same here, logo.png. Okay, so you can comment this part, control K C, and then can take H3 or H4 and can take here admin area, save it and refresh. Okay, let's close this. It's a little bit okay. We need to give some padding from the here from the front, from the left side of the screen. Class padding left, that is, let's give it to save, refresh. Okay, now it's like a little better. So we have changed everything like what I have done. Okay, what I have done in my project, I have changed the same way here. So finally, like it's the last video of this project, and we have completed everything. The functional device, like what I have implemented in my project. So it requires lots of effort for me to create this whole series. I know it has taken a lot of time, like, more than a year, I think, because like after that I am before I was doing freelancing, but after that I started working corporate, so like I didn't get times for that. So that's why so much delay in creating a video. Uh, and actually, like I have to record videos at night only, so it's not possible to get time. So that's the issue. I hope you understand. So this is the last video of this project. I hope you guys like this project and my work, and like if you really feel like it helps you, then do like too much videos, subscribe to our channels, and then share it with your friends who needs it. Okay, and learn it from it. Just learn from it. You will get so much things to learn. Happy learning, happy coding. Thank you. We'll meet in the next video with some other project, maybe. Till then, bye. Take care. Thank you for watching.